Alright, guys, what the hell is going on? We got ourselves Maru down here in the bottom left side of the map, playing GSL for Vitality, and he's going to be up against Classic for Twisted Minds in the top right. It is the first match here of Group A from the round of 8. That's right, we have two 4-player groups in the round of 8 to see who gets to the top 4. 2 Terrans, 2 Protosses, and most excitingly, this is the first official tournament we've seen with the patch being fully released. Which means, guess what? Cyclones do a little bit less damage. And it no longer... They'd initially planned to make it scale up more with upgrades. Doesn't do that. They just do less damage. And there's a 3-second cooldown on the lock-on. So when their lock-on finishes, they can't immediately lock onto another unit. Which means they're worse against, like, Zerglings and killing workers and stuff. Like running through worker lines, which is kind of nice. But they do have 20 more hit points. So some people are like, meh, they're tankier. It's BS, they're Imber. I don't know. I haven't really seen that much. They do operate in most ways very similar to the old one. But I would say there's just scenarios where, like, a very extreme example of them, say, microing against Zerglings or running through a mineral line. Those are the two main examples where you see the Cyclone perform quite differently. Other than that, Observers build faster now, which means Protoss can squeeze those Observers in without cutting as much Colossus production, which is great. But not only that, we've also got the Observers being chunkier. They are more visible, and when they siege up, when they want to use that surveillance mode that gives them extra vision and makes it so you can't F2 them back to your army, they actually throb a lot harder. And I know that sounds like I'm just making it silly. I'm not, guys. That's actually... I just don't know how else to describe it. They jiggle more? I guess that's slightly less weird way of saying it. Essentially, they're easier to see. So if you do set your Observers up like that, you want to try and set them up on pillars and things like this, where if they don't have a medevac nearby, they won't be able to see it. But definitely, Observers are able to see it a little bit more. Now, this is a hallucination opening into a Robo-First Classic. Playing about as safe as he possibly could. I do like the Robo-First, personally. I think it's really good. The problem I found historically is Classic plays so defensive against Maru. And then Maru just doesn't really let him get to late game. Kills him in the mid game, historically. I mean, there are times where Maru gets, like, you know, it's like, oh, it's at 3 base. Classic has a 4th. But there's almost always that point where, like, the EMPs land and his army kind of just crumbles. Robo into Stargate? What? 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 Is it? He saw a 3rd command center with his hallucination. And he reacts with a Stargate? I know Classic's the king of defending with 2 Phoenix and then going Colossus. But this is bizarre. So he's got a Stalker, a Sentry, and an Adept. He's just chronoing probes. I think it's too late to go Phoenix. I don't think they're useful at all. But otherwise, I don't know what else he's doing. Unless he's, like, rushing Tempest, Colossus, or something. 3rd base goes down. Oh, my God. Super greedy. Oh, God. That Cyclone's going to cause problems. Oh, Cyclone. You can see it can't lock on again immediately. Now it is able to lock on again. But he locked it onto the weak Adept, which means it's losing a lot of damage right now. But now it gets another lock on, and that's big. Oh, my God. He's already killed a bunch of units. The first unit dies there for Terran. Dude, this is so much damage. This is so much damage right now. Cyclone's still a very accessible, cheap unit, and you can see how much damage it represents. You can see there, 5 probes from walking a few Marines and a Cyclone across the map while taking an incredibly quick 3rd command center. And that is the opportunistic power of being scouted. He saw the Phoenix hallucination scout his 3rd command center, and he said, you know what? You're going to be super greedy. I'm going to shove across the map. Because there's no... You might be like, well, why didn't you just build a shield battery? Guys, if you're building static defense against a guy who's doing a super greedy 3rd, you're basically digging your own grave. You're putting yourself way behind. Now, obviously, in hindsight, Classic probably should have warped in another unit, maybe left that Nexus exposed a little bit and just pulled back for a moment and tried to micro his Stalkers a little bit better. But either way, good trades for Maru. Fantastic trades. That's a great start for him. So we've got Oracle coming out. So it's going to be the most North American of Oracles. An Oracle that's like 3 minutes after the normal time it arrives. Now, obviously, it's not really for harassment. It'll probably try to kill a few SCVs, but I imagine it's mostly for scouting, maybe for some stasis traps. I still find this an absolutely bizarre choice for Classic, but Classic's playstyle is bizarre. Classic's a very unique player. A lot of other Protoss players kind of copy each other and go around in circles, figuring out, you know, how to just do max packs and heroes builds slightly better than them or slightly worse than them. Classic plays his own style. And, I mean, in the previous group stage against Dark, what did we see? He went Colossus Void Ray. I still think that style has huge vulnerabilities, but he made it work, and Dark seemed kind of lost about how to deal with it. So, you know, you got to give credit where credit's due. Oracle does come in at almost 6 minutes, kills 2 SCVs. Oh my god, he's going to get 4. Maru's like, why is there an Oracle at 6 minutes? My head hurts. I didn't realize I was playing 2.6k on the NA ladder, but apparently I am. Oh my god. The Oracle gets 7 kills. That's actually awesome. That's actually so much damage. That's great. One Immortals here. We're building Phoenix now. It's too late to build Phoenix, surely. Yeah, he cancels it. I'm like, that's crazy. Fleet Beacon goes down. Yeah, it's a mega turtley. So this is it, guys. Against Dark, it was like Colossus Void Ray, and then he just goes carriers. Against Terran, I don't think straight carriers is very good because Marines can focus them down, but I guess if you land some Colossus shots on the Marines, maybe. Tempests are very good against like siege tanks and libs and stuff, but they lack the raw damage output of other unit comps. What they have is the ranged advantage, which allows them to chip at the enemy from afar. So 2 Stargates, 3 Gateways, 1 Robo. It's going to be a really interesting style. Now, in terms of anti-air control, you have 2 Stalkers and 1 Sentry that shoots up as classic. Don't even have a battery in your main, no battery in your natural. And that is going to be a Cyclone run by in the natural and a drop in the main. Luckily, Classic is going to see it. Loses that probe. Oracle comes in, kills itself another 3 workers. It's got 10 kills now in total. So 2 workers just then. Must have got 1 before that. Oh god, no, no. Okay, doesn't fly his Oracle through the bio, and Maru's going to be respectful here. Something I wasn't really expecting, but you got to realize from Maru's point of view, he's not exactly sure what Classic setup is. He doesn't want to throw units away. Now, he clears what he thinks is an opening for the mine drop to get through. And of course it is. Of course it is. Oh, but there's a Colossus and a Stalker there. Tempests are building. I love it. Tempests. Okay. He's already got 2 of them out. The Widow Mine drop is going to go down, and he will get at least 1 of those in the ground. No, spready, spready, spready. Good spready. Tempest goes down. He gets a single probe kill. Sorry. Medevac drop goes down. Only gets a single probe kill. This is going to be fascinating now, because at this point, Classic has his 4th coming up. And I think for Maru, yeah, it's kind of tough to find a way. No battery on the natural is astounding to me. He's just focusing on units. He's got batteries and cannons there. Oh, sorry, they're all batteries, actually. Yeah, just 1 cannon. So he's getting batteries on the 3rd and 4th. Nothing in the natural. Maru says, oh, are we playing late game? Okay. Goes 2/2 upgrades, +1 ship weapons, 2 more command centers, 2 more starports as well. And Maru is the king of late game. Do not forget. Maru is the absolute king of the late game. He has more experience in that scenario than just about anybody else. And more importantly, I would say more calm. Most players panic in the late game, not Maru. Widowmine trades for a Stalker there. Positive trade. The Stalker's corpse does get disposed of. The rest of the army just kind of barreled it into this little hole. Didn't realize units could fall through that force field on top, but I guess they can. Oracle still just looking around, tagging where it can, seeing extra command centers. Classic's up to 76 workers as his Twilight Council starts. Plasma shields are already coming in. Makes sense. He's already got +1 ground, and plasma shields will help the air and the ground units. It's always a very good choice, though EMP does tend to lower their overall effectiveness. 4th command center over on that left side. That Oracle has given fantastic value, getting it actually in the favor of Classic so far. He sees the extra starports. So we know now there are 3 starports. They all have reactors. He's going to be going for just tons of Vikings. Vikings counter Colossus, Vikings counter Tempests, and Vikings can beat carriers. Now, adding Blink on the ground and some Stalkers, so he's got some anti-air, that's kind of okay. I definitely feel like Psystorm, though, is 100% necessary in this sort of game, because you need to have that zoning utility against them. Now, remember, feedback range also got increased by 1 in a previous patch as well. So I do feel like feedback on Ghosts is somewhat viable, but more importantly, Ghosts are pretty slow and they get stuck behind the bio and stuff. So just having a few High Templar peppered around in the late game is essential to punish the stack of air. And Maru always goes a stack of air. He'll go Fusion Core and Lib range in the near future as well. I'm surprised he hasn't actually started that. But do expect him to go for not only Vikings, tons of Libs, and he's going to have all these fragile air units kind of stacked on top of each other, running forwards and sieging on top of the opponent. +2 air weapons is on the way. Second Cybercore just came in. I don't know where he built that. Am I blind? Oh, it's over here. Still building. Templar Archives did just come in. Hasn't started Storm just yet. And it's purely defensive. Just stasis traps. Chilling. 6 Tempests is about as many as you'd ever want to be getting. Oh, Maru's going to slow push him with turrets. I'm not sure if that really makes any sense because Tempests have great range. They are faster now. A few patches ago, they actually got much faster acceleration and movement. You can see, like, look how quick they accelerate now. So that it used to be they would take forever to get going if they ever stopped moving. Okay. Ooh, Tempest takedown a Viking. Not bad. You need to keep using the Oracle here, but the Oracle just got EMP'd. So he loses his Oracle. You need that Oracle for vision. Oh, God. Oh, Carrier goes down. Oh, my gosh. Another volley goes down on the Tempest as well, but every time the disengage happens, the Tempest get big damage. Oh, dude, Classic's Focus Fire is really good. He just killed 4 Vikings and Medevac. He lost 2 Carriers already, which is not great. He's got Disruptors here. Storms coming in, having a few High Templar peppered around. Remember, when those Vikings run forward, that's where the Storms need to land. Classic needs to establish this 5th base. Maru's trying to bully him back right now as he goes into Fusion Core. He's getting ready for the Libs while taking his own gold. Maru's on 5 base, about to go to 6. He wants to out-economy Classic, and he wants to lure these Tempests forward to where his Vikings can kill them. That Nexus has to get cancelled, having to expand down to the bottom right. Classic pinned back right now. This is not ideal for the Protoss player. Letting Maru camp outside your base. Technically, this is meant to be where Tempests excel, is if you're both in a holding pattern, just outside of each other's range. That's where Tempests are meant to be able to pick at the opponent. But look at the way he's even bringing his Ghost forward. He's so ready for the EMP. Maru's actually so good at this. Yeah, so this is the thing. Like I said, Storm's meant to take out these guys, but he needs to actually feed back the Ghost before he can even think about storming, and he hasn't even got a single High Templar up yet, so obviously that's not even the top of his priority list. Vikings are taking some decent damage. These turrets coming forward. Oh my gosh, what a beast. Maru. Mass turret push right now, being a D-bag. 3-3 is on the way. Advanced ballistics. Extra command centers building. His own 6 base is mining. And he's massing orbitals behind it. He's only on 4 orbitals right now, but he's got a great forward position. And let's keep an eye on that trading. So far, 600 resources in his favor. Cannons. And that 5th base now finally up for Classic. Classic needs to find efficiency in this game. He's got High Templar now. 1, 2, 3. I'd love to see one on that left high ground. I really feel you've got to come in from surprising angles with those High Templar. The tags of the Oracles are really good, though. The Oracle tags, the Stalkers, try to do some damage to the Vikings. The Tempest turn to fight. That means Tempest and Oracle go down, and a Colossus. These trades are just terrible for Classic. You cannot sit in range of 21 Vikings with +2. Not even for a second, unless you have Storms landing, or Archons hitting them, or some sort of, anti-air splash damage. It gets out of control very quickly. It's a very fragile army for turn. A lot of players screw this up and lose from here very easily. But that has not happened for Maru. Maru's just looking for the advantages little by little. Vikings run forward. EMPs land on the Stalkers and the High Templar. High Templar does come forward. That's the big storm we were looking for. That's the how dare you run forward. But look at the micro from Classic. You can already tell it's a bit problematic. He has to keep the High Templar spread. He needs one on the left. He needs to maybe even have one over here behind the gold, try to run up from there. You've got to, you can't just come from one angle, or those EMPs will be devastating. So Classic needs to be very picture perfect on those little adjustments. The fact that all his High Templar are coming from one angle, to me, feels a little bit scary. Okay, Tempest take out a turret. Getting the turrets will give you value over time as well. Oh god. Oh god, he stayed way too long. Classic not watching, loses 2 Tempests. A few High Templar and a Stalker as well. Down 3,000 resources in the units lost, +3 ship weapons is on the way, building armor coming in as well. He's also got that Medevac, plus 100% energy upgrade, which is so good for these late game scenarios. You don't want a lot of supply wasted in Medevacs, but that actually makes your max out, 6, 8, 10 supply more effective with that upgrade. And that is actually something which is kind of a crazy upgrade. We don't see it affecting most games, but in this scenario it's big. Massive storm, but the disruptors get focused down. The Vikings tank it unless there's another storm. Oh my god, they're just killing everything. Classic's getting wrecked right now. Maru is showing his pedigree, and I really thought Maru would just kill him before we got to this stage. But Maru has once again said, it doesn't matter what stage we're at. I am Maru, and I'm trading better than 2-to-1 effectiveness. Let's look at the units lost tab, guys. 11 capital ships have gone down, 4 Tempests, 7 carriers for just 13 Vikings. Oh my lord, you want to be killing at least 3 Vikings for each one of these carriers going down, whereas it's not even 2-to-1, it's much closer to 1-to-1. Viking does get taken down, bottom right side, we've got that base still mining for Classic, he's trying to take a 6th up to the top left. Maru simply is chewing up more resources on the map. If Maru were to take his top left base and start mulling that out, that would just secure the win, I believe. But for now, he's taking his time, slowly working forwards, and it feels like the Tempests, maybe they need +1 range to do their job. What do you guys think? I don't know. Is he just crap at micro? I feel like I haven't seen Tempests just look that good. Maybe it's just because I'm watching Cyril and Maru. I feel like I played against Tempest the other week and they wrecked me. Is it just one of those things where like I'm like, oh, it's just a skill issue? It's almost always a skill issue in StarCraft, let's be honest. Nuke does come down. Lovely zoning nuke, dude. Lovely zoning nuke. Okay, he's just like, hey, do you really want to walk into this nuke? And Classic doesn't have any detection right there. Remember, Classic's been struggling. Oh my god, he didn't pull his probes. Okay, so he loses a few probes there as well. Classic maybe should have given that base up and just cleared out the right side. Right? Just blink forward, kill the libs, and just clear all these turrets with your carriers and tempests. Because I think you've got to get rid of the static defense, and then you'll have a much better advantage. Oh, Classic's only splitting one High Templar at a time. This is so dangerous. This High Templar micro is not optimal, guys. He's setting himself up for failure. I point this out whenever Zergs do this against Terran in late game. There we go. Okay, so he brings just 2 forward. You have to keep your spellcasters split, or EMP becomes a god spell. Carriers are there, gonna start fighting these Vikings. They're struggling to even launch the interceptors. I mean, that storm was pretty good. But once again, Maru is destroying. 7,500 resources ahead in the units lost. Only 1 carrier alive right now. More Stargates trying to build. Once they get the turrets and the sensor towers up, really does give Terran some big advantages in these scenarios. He's also up to 7 orbitals and building even more command centers behind this. So Maru is extending his advantage. Now, poking on forward is Classic. I like that choice. But those High Templar are out of juice. Only 1 High Templar with a Sly Storm right now. Nexus in the top left does go down. No big surprises there. Plus, what is that? +3 plasma shields coming in. Only 2-1 on the air. About to be +3 though for Protoss. Maru's on 3-1, gets another Oracle snipe. Every Oracle you snipe is 300 resources. I mean, it adds up, and it adds up quick. Maru doesn't have more money, and you might be wondering why. The reason is he's putting all of his money into infrastructure. He's got turret sensor towers surrounding his opponent, but he's also got massive command centers coming up, so he can drop 1 billion mules at any moment. That being said, he doesn't have a huge bank to draw on. If he somehow screws up and loses an entire army, then that would be big. He's going to do another zoning nuke. Oh, good storm. That was actually a big, juicy storm there. Morphing Archons on top of the nuke. Probably not the best. Classic! Classic! He didn't see it. He didn't see it. He hasn't seen it. He hasn't seen it. Oh, my God. That is the pressure of playing Maru right there. Against any other opponent, in any other situation, Classic notices that nuke. But Maru puts so much pressure on that you lose track of what's going on. Let's rewind that one. And he did not see that red dot at all. He did not see that red dot at all. Let's go to Classic's camera, because I really feel like he should have seen it, but yeah, this is it. EMP's going down. He's trying to feedback. He's trying to storm. So I have an issue with my sound on my current computer. Sometimes it doesn't play alerts. You're going to notice I didn't hear nuclear launch detected, even though we were watching from his point of view. It was layered underneath like 5 other sounds, and the red dot was on the shield battery where it's nearly impossible to see. Let's go back a little bit and see if we hear it. Nuclear launch detected. He did say it there. It's kind of, I mean, my game sounds are purposely not that loud. The players would probably have it a little bit louder, because obviously the combat gets so loud in StarCraft. But yeah, that's rough. That's rough, man. Great game 1 for Maru, though. Classic gets to where he wants to be in the game, but I think he's just maybe a bit too defensive. Probably needed to be poking out a bit more aggressively and start clearing those turrets earlier on and trying to like land Psystorms and that sort of stuff. I also think if you can get your interceptors launched, your carriers do okay versus the Vikings, but anyways, we'll see if he plays the same style in game 2. All right, guys, going into game 2, Maru's going to open up Double Gas. It's Oceanborn. It's a smaller map. It's a great Terran map, and I would say Maru's saying, you know what? I could probably beat you in the same way. Or, how about I just kill you before you get to your stupid dragging out the game Tempest stuff? Now, to be fair, Classic played a pretty good game, but it did feel a lot like a lot of Classic's games where he's defending, and then he's defending, and he never turns into attacking. And Maru doesn't give him that chance to attack. So, if he could get up to that later stage and then use that to be a bit more active, that would be fantastic. I'm not sure exactly how, but I definitely think maybe pushing into the Terran a little bit more and clearing those turrets early, a bit more aggressively, might be the way to do it. All right, Reaper expand against Nexus expand. Interesting. Factory coming in as well. Reaper's about to pop. I think we'll probably just see Reactor. I doubt we'll see double Reaper Hellion or anything like that. But keep your eyes on this. And yep, Reactor does go down. So a bit more of a conservative opening for Maru. Nothing too crazy. Notice he's pulled 3 workers off gas. So he's just got 2 on one on the other. And that Depot SCV goes down to build the command center. About 2 minutes 20 is usually when that starts. Should queue up 1 more SCV. Oh, and there we go. Pretty well timed, as you can see. Right on 405 minerals gets that started. Stargate's going down. It's going to be Classic's Phoenix opening. So he's going to go... He could go Oracle, I guess, but probably... He normally opens up 2 Phoenix into Robo. And he'll scout with them, and he won't overbuild Phoenix. Like, Classic will only keep building Phoenix if he sees that you're going Widow Mine Drop or something like that. Alright, Cyclone coming in, 2 Marines as well. Depot's coming on. Natural Command Center coming up as the Reaper scoots around. But the Adept emerges at the correct time. And that Stargate's very well hidden. Look at that Stargate placement in the main, by the way. The pylon is there. You have to get in really deep, up to like here or here with your Reaper to see it, at which point you're probably going to die. Oh, Maru's so good. Dude, top Terrans are so good at that micro. Luckily, he didn't go north. I think if he went north, he might have got it away. At least the Adept does delay the command center. So even though obviously an Adept costs 2.5 times as much as an SCV, he massively delays the command center. Maru, hello, Maru. Oh my God, he's not put the SCV back on the command center. I don't even think he was looking. I think he thought the SCV survived. He assumed the Adept was going to die before it got the 3rd shot off, and he literally looked away. So he literally just looked away, assuming, because he'd queued the SCV to move there and then right-click back on the command center. Oh, that is so rare to see a guy like Maru make that mistake. That's the sort of mistake. I made this mistake like so many times the other day. I remember doing this exact sort of mistake multiple times and getting kind of triggered. But I almost never see Maru do that. And look at this. He's long-distance mining, guys, which is way less efficient than just mining the main. He could have gone up to 20 workers on the main and mined a lot more resources. The reason he did that is because he thought the command center was going to be done like 45 seconds earlier. That's actually a great... That Adept does a lot. Very successful. And as I said, Classic's 2 Phoenix opening that he loves. Unfortunately, this might just be 2-0. I mean, battery overcharge is available. He's got energy for overcharge and a 2nd Stalker. Just he has so little damage. These guys could have just clicked on the shield battery and killed it and then continued in with the Phoenix not there to pick up. It's kind of tough. But now with 3 gateway units and they're out front of the battery, kind of risky to go in there. Phoenix are going to pick off a couple of Marines and the SCV on the 3rd command center, of course, which Maru immediately replaces. Building a Raven. Raven tank is very defensive for Maru in the next step. Classic starts the 3rd Nexus. 2 Cyclones and a few Marines could kill that. Yeah, he has to cancel it immediately. This is good. I like the way Maru's just hanging out on the Protoss side of the map, but he's got to leave now. Now is the time to leave. If he stays any longer, the Phoenix are gonna ruin his day, even without lifts. Nice pickups. Gets himself a Widow Mine. Cyclone damages a Phoenix, an Adept goes down, and a few Marines fall, but the rest do get picked up to leave. 3rd Nexus comes down behind this. Classic is going to be going for Colossus in a moment. His Robo Bay's just finished, so as he hits 300 minerals, you should see a first Colossus startup, and a Chrono Boost goes down. Interference Matrix and double Raven Interference Matrix. Okay. King of the memes right now, guys. Maru is going to play double Raven Interference Matrix. If he builds a 3rd one, that's when we know he's actually just trying to win in the silliest way possible. No, he's going to go double Engineering Bay now. We should see the Starport swap off once Matrix is ready. And he's going to be going up into a Bio build. He's going to have so much Interference Matrix. I think we're going to see Maru do the classic move. If he gets the opportunity, of course, he will basically just spam Interference Matrices across the Colossus, and stim in a ball at them and just try to jump on top and kill Classic. Now, Classic's gone a very early fourth, which I kind of love. And notice he's actually not playing Skytoss this time. He's playing full ground. So he's probing. I mean, he's only probing intermittently. Notice there's big gaps in his probe production right now, guys. There we go. Okay, does start that up again. But he's got +1. We should be seeing, I think he goes charge first. Yeah, because Blink won't necessarily, if you go Blink, you might not have charge for the first push. And Blink isn't really a combat ability. It's more of a zoning, map control, and anti-drop ability. And even though he's only got 2 Phoenix, Phoenix will help with that. So he's okay to delay getting Blink until later. I do want to see Classic keep probing here. He's once again got gaps in his probes. I guess he's doing this consciously. It's not like this is a mistake, guys. This is basically him saying, yeah, I need to have 8 gates started. If I don't get my 8 gates started, I might die when Maru moves out. So let's get to 8 gateways, then I can go back to probe. So that's the 8th gateway, and watch his probe production restart. And that's just because 8 is a very nice count. 8 gateways is enough to do, you know, spend your money on 2 bases. You're also building Colossus and upgrades, so that basically chews up about enough of 3 base income. The 4th base on top means you will be able to add more gateways, double upgrades, things like Warp Prism or Observer Speed as well. You know, all these little bonus things, Dark Shrine. So you can see Classic is kind of saying, look, I've got a good amount of army production, kind of 2.5, 3 base army production, and I'm using the rest of the money to build out that tech, and we'll probably add a few more. I would imagine 2nd and 3rd Robo is next. It's kind of odd to see Classic play 1 Robo, actually. This is more of a Max Packs hero style. Higher activity level, DTs running in, Gateway Zealots running in, that sort of stuff, but it does mean you don't have as many Disruptors out nearly as early, and the Disruptor is his favorite unit, so a bit of an odd choice. Loses himself an Observer out here. Those Ravens are stacked full of energy. He immediately drops the Templar Archives, realizing, oh god, I wish I had feedback right now. Maru scans and rotates to the left. The Phoenix are going to see this army. Nice move from Classic to see that. Maru's just going to YOLO. I told you he's going to do this. I told you he's going to do this. Good force fields to buy time. The Colossus are trying to get out of there. Pull back, Classic. Get out. He doesn't have a battery. Oh, no. He doesn't have a battery. But the Colossus do get away from the bio, which is something. Those interference matrices finally do wear off. The tank gets picked up by the Phoenix. The Colossus actually do very well. I told you guys Maru was just going to spare matrices and dive, and he did. But Classic actually microed really well versus it. And I'll tell you what. The whole point of that was to get rid of the Colossus, and then your opponent's building crappy Zealot, Stalker, Phoenix against Bio. Instead, it backfires. You throw away most of your army. All the important Protoss units survive, and now Classic gets to take a 5th base. And that is huge. He's got more gateways coming in. He's going up to 10 gates. He's got a Dark Templar. He's going to go for a Zealot drop with a Dark Templar running into the 3rd base. If he can do that while poking at the front with the Colossus, that'd be great. Problem is, his Colossus army is so weak, it might just get surrounded and killed. Oh, counter drop for Maru. Maru's like, oh god, I got a base trade. Oh no, man. Little does he realize, though, Zealot's going in the main. So he's dropping Zealot DT in the main. There's a DT walking to the 3rd, and another Zealot dropping in behind the natural. Drop goes in over there at the same time on the right side. Widowmines are going to come in, get a Stalker and a few probes. A few probes and a Nexus, and the natural do get sniped down. The base trade is happening very quickly. SCV's trying to run away. Main base is defended for Maru for now. But can he defend the Colossus? He's got a Zealot in his natural. That's getting a lot of kills. I'm going to select him. If you want to see how many kills that Zealot has, keep an eye on that bottom right side. In the main base, recall happens. Colossus, Stalker, Phoenix do defend. He didn't really kill that many probes, so Classic's fine. He can just rebuild that Nexus and go back to mining. Looks like the Zealots did get cleaned up in DTs. The Prism is still alive, though. Oh my gosh. Is that an F2? That looks a little bit like an F2. Does unfortunately fly the Prism into that. And the DT still going after these SCVs. A few more go down. Maru is on 3 base. He's on 56 workers. He right now is deep in Protoss town. It's Classic's town. It's his neck of the woods. He's the mayor. And he says, you have to pay the tax. And that tax is being a player who has no economic progression. Decent upgrades coming in, but it's just Bio Ghost with a few Vikings up against a Protoss who's getting into his comfort zone. Rebuilding his Robo. He's still got 10 gate producing. He's got 2-2 upgrades almost done himself as well, so the upgrades will be pretty similar, and a big army cascading across this map. Unfortunately for Classic, no Warp Prism right now. And, man, 5 bases mining, though. The income is pretty insane. Do you turtle up here as Maru, or do you try to do... I mean, you can't boy pull. There's 3 Colossus. 3 Colossus negates the choice to pull SCVs. He's going to split his army. If he can flank this army and get on the Colossus, that's big, but with the Zealot count being as high as it is, you're better off probably just being in a ball and started stepping away from the Colossus and trying to kite those Zealots down. But if Classic groups his army up, that could be big. Look at the way Classic spread his boys out. Oh, he's going to go for it. Oh, he's going to group his army back up here. Stalkers will pick off the Widow Mines on both sides. Stalkers over on that right side coming in. Zealots coming in from here. The Colossus are roasting the SCVs on the south. He clicks on the Marines. The Marines, he's focus firing in the middle of the bio. Nice Colossus starter step for Classic. Is it enough though? He does kill a lot of Marines and SCVs. He does try to run away now, which is the correct call. 23 workers, a lot of Marines go down. He puts Maru in a pretty weak position economically, but he does lose a lot of stuff. Gets himself a Viking, blinks back. Good choice. Only one Robo, that's the problem. He does only have 10 gates. He's only got 10 gates and a Robo. He can't spend his money. Oh, no. Oh, man. Okay, Classic can't fight the army. Damn, I thought he had this one in the bag, but now it gets kind of messy. That's a good move. Nothing in the main. There's no reserves in the main. Only 2 Widow Mines at the ramp. Maru has to rally past those Widow Mines. Zealot Stalker coming in from the front. Remember, he's got Dark Templar tech, so if you kill the orbitals, you will win the base trade in the long run. There's only a few ghosts with EMPs. These probes almost all go down. Only one escapes. That Immortal going to get taken down instantly. Back at home, no resistance here. If the Stalkers can take out the orbitals, they've got this. Tries to take out the medevac, but it does get away. Good move by Maru to boost that. The 3-3 will not finish. Chrono boosting that basically says no, no, no. Maru's going to click on those pylons instantly. Bio over there could maybe get in and deny this mining. He's going to start hiding some probes, trying to rebuild the Dark Shrine. He knows losing the DT Shrine, the Dark Shrine, is a problem. I'm surprised he didn't warp in more DTs beforehand. I guess he just warped in mostly Zealots and Stalkers. And he warps in more Zealots here as well. Once again, surprised. I guess he doesn't have gas. Oh, he should cancel. If he cancels his 3-3, he'll get all the gas back. Even if he doesn't cancel it, if the Forgers die, he'll get refunded a lot of gas, which he's missing right now. There are still 1 Phoenix on the map. If that Phoenix comes down, he can kill this command center. If he finds that Phoenix, the Phoenix can kill the command center. Classic doesn't know about it. It's not even on a control group right now. That's an issue. He's got Nexus there. He's got Gateway, Dark Shrine building up there. Nexus there. His main base has been depowered. 3-3 is still sitting there with a lot of gas value sitting inside it. There is no gas mining right now, which is a huge problem. Looks like the command center did end up going down. Wait, what? Maru moved his command center out of the dead space. A bit of a mistake there, a bit of a blunder for him. These are his last buildings. He's got the depot, the gas, the turret, but these ones trying to float away as the main ones. Maru's army is distinctly better, though, when it comes to EMP, using SCVs to block and gunning down the enemy units. Question is, does that matter if you're up against a guy who's still got all this infrastructure and probes and Nexi even alive? Zealot Stalker, if they can pick up a few units, that could be huge. Dark Templar is not going to be very effective with this many EMPs there. So I don't know if the DT is that big of a deal. He gets a Ghost. That was actually really good. Gets himself a Ghost. One of the upgrades gets killed, which means big refund of money. Remember, you do not need to cancel upgrades to get your money back. The myth I've been trying to correct for the last 14 years, and a good 20% of the audience still doesn't believe that you get the money back when the upgrade structure dies. As you guys could see, the money went up there. In a replay, it's a little bit weird. Sometimes the money, you could see the money popped up even a second before the upgrade appeared to die on screen. But that is exactly how it works. Remember, he had no gas. 2 upgrades got cancelled. Now he's at 429. Just like magic. Zealot Stalker still hanging out. Probes being rebuilt. SCV finds the Dark Shrine. How many EMPs have we got, guys? I think it's just the 3 ghosts, right? So he's got 3 ghosts. He's got a little bit of energy across them. Yeah. 6 EMPs. EMP reveals invisible unit for a little while. Now, there is a Phoenix, remember? The Phoenix could be used to kill the barracks in the corner, and he could just win the base trade that way. If he gets the Phoenix on top of this, that's going to basically end it. Dark Templar are being warped in and sent in one at a time. He's not fighting with them, though, which I find a bit odd. Is he going for the ghosts? What's he doing? He's going to just run away. I guess he's got mining down here, which is kind of nice. Probes are killing these last buildings. The Phoenix is still just chilling down here, guys. Oh, man. That's always one of the things you want to do in a base trade against Terran, where it looks like they might draw the game. But he's just going to fight. He's going to fight. 2-2 against 2-2. EMPs on the Zealots. Prism does get shot down. The Prism got shot down. There's so many Zealots and probes. The army supply does matter, guys. Bio Ghost is good. But when you have that many Zealots, DTs, and Stalkers, it is enough. Classic does end up tying up the series 1-1. And he never found the Phoenix down here, by the way. Yeah, always check, because if you have even a single air unit, you can stop the draw condition. You put that Phoenix here, and then if you kill these buildings, it's just these buildings that are floating, and they basically need to get out. Because otherwise, Terran can just float buildings in the corner and then just force a draw. if you can't mine, but as long as you have an air unit, you can stop that. Good tip for dealing with Terran, guys. GG though, we've got a third game. All right. Game 3 now on Ghost River. It's a tiny rush distance on this map, and you only get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 very exposed 6 bases each. And your 6th base is just across here from their 6th base. Your natural, more importantly, is just across here. So often you end up like, I'm on this high ground, you're on this high ground. It feels like you're in, I don't know, it's like trench warfare. You know, it's got a real World War I feel to it, this map. It's you're just there. And at any moment, I could come over and try to get you, or you could come over and try to get me. And yet somehow, because of the architecture and the choke points, a lot of the games I've played on it, we're both like gets to 5 and 6 base. And maybe it's just because it's very new, right? We're still figuring things out. But this map, it definitely leads to some odd scenarios. Now, I know some people are saying like, oh, tanks and libs pushing up here is like really brutal to deal with this push angle. In that scenario, normally the Protoss or the Zerg goes around the south and tries to counterattack the rally point and cut off from behind and stuff. I really don't know what the hell we're going to see on this map because I just haven't seen any high-level TVP. I've mostly been playing Zerg on it. I played a bit of TVP as well for like the last week or two, but at a pretty scrappy low level, and I'm sure these guys are going to show us how it's done. Classic, as always, safety is prioritized. He wants an early hallucination to see what's going on, and we'll see how it goes. Start. Port goes down. Robo first. You know, this map has a wide open third. Notice how far away that is from the natural. Problem, it has a ledge covering it. So if there's tanks on the ledge, it does give a nice safety net. I would say that's not that important against Protoss, though. I don't think tanks on the high ground is that common. I feel like going Robo, get some vision, and then do the Storm plus charge into third base. So you take a later third, and then you do the Storm plus charge lot bust. It just catches Maru off a lot, and that's just a good style. But I'm kind of thinking about the metagame between these two, because if you think about it, Maru's just expecting Classic to play the same turtley slow game that he always does. He just wants to survive, right? Classic's whole thing is scout, defend, survive. Scout, defend, survive. He's very much an old school Protoss player. You know, he excelled. He won his first GSL in 2014. He excelled through early Legacy of the Void as well. Even in 2019, he took Rogue out at the bloody World Championship, made it to the semifinals. Classic's a player who has got such a history, but he does come from, you know, a time, you know, where he was amazingly good when like Mothership Core was a big thing. He was amazingly good past that time as well. Honestly, Classic adapts to whichever era he's in. It doesn't really matter. He always finds a way to just adapt and flex his abilities and his range to what is needed for the situation, and that's what we always talk about. Lately, he's been very turtley, though, and he seems adamant that this is the way to play in 2023 and 2024 now. Drop comes into the main base. It's a mine and a couple of Marines. I think a pylon is probably the best he can hope for here. You could sacrifice the Phoenix onto the Widow Mine, but knowing Maru, he'll quickly unburrow the Widow Mine. Oh, Widow Mine runs in the natural. Oh, very cute, very cute. Gets himself a pylon, a probe, and mining time. Oh, that's very sexy. Oh, but he saves it because he's Maru. He's got disgusting reaction speed. Dude, I didn't even see that Widow Mine on burrow. Literally, like, the rocket must have been mid-air, and he already picked it up. And this Widow Mine left the natural as well. It got out of there. Oh, that's a love. This is an old school pressure, and it just did so much. He loses a Hellion, but he gets a probe, a pylon, and mining time, and he slows down Classic's third massively. That's huge. Behind it, third command center is on the way. Now, Classic saw the lack of a third command center, so he's hidden the third command center, right, as well. He's made it look, and it's interesting that Classic is willing to play these macro games, or Maru, sorry, is willing to play these macro games. Normally, Terran just tries to kill Protoss, but he really respects Classic's ability to defend the standard 3 racks pushes. You know, 3 racks before third command center, that is. And he's going to push it to the longer game. Raven is getting interference matrix. Now, adjustment. He sees that. Upgrade. You know it's going to be Raven again. Here's what you do. If you see 2 Ravens again, you drop your Templar Archives 30 seconds earlier, and you just feed back the Ravens. And remember how successful he was in that fight. He cancels it. I like this move for Maru. It's been scouted. There's no way he's falling for it twice in a row, and he reacts better this time. Now, that Observer could have been a bit further out to give him more warning, but, oh, he's only got 1 left. He's 2 energy away. 2 energy away. If he wants to pick up both, he needs to do it right now. He just got the energy. Oh, he just moved his probes underneath the Phoenix that was targeted. A little sloppy at the same time. Liberator in the main. Oh, Maru. Who the hell builds a Liberator? Guys, a Liberator is like a noob unit in this matchup. And I kid you not, I say that while absolutely appreciating how good it is. What makes the Liberator good is it's used so commonly against low-level Protoss players, and it's only used at a few surprising moments in pro PvT. And that's why it has such a high success rate. You don't see it that often, but when you do see it, it feels like it's almost always successful. And the reason is Terrans like Maru are so good at picking when to do it. And he does it as the Widow Mine drops there, as you're kind of dealing with that. The Liberator sneaks in the right side. And man, it just did a ton of damage. And now Maru's like, cool, I'm just alive on 3 base. I'm making my bio. I'm making mines now. I've swapped off tank production. I only built one of those. Armory so I can start 2-2. He's already up to 7 racks? Guys, he's already on 7 racks. Oh my gosh. Classic taking a 4th. He desperately needs it. I think, honestly, I want to see Classic play straight Disruptors this game and go to a Classic Disruptor style. He's doing that Templar Archives adjustment. Well, yeah, that's an early Templar Archives. I think he wants to feed back the Raven. Raven's just going to drop an anti-armor missile and then not really do anything for the rest of the game, though. It's more of an observer spotter than anything else, so I don't think Maru's too worried about losing that. His supply is amazingly good. He's just done so much to slow Classic down. Classic's units lost type 8 probes, 1 pylon doesn't look bad. You got to realize how much he's been distracted and delayed on what he wanted to do. And this is not a real push right now. What Maru is doing is posturing, guys. Maru is walking around the map going, oogie boogie, oogie boogie boo, oogie boogie boo boo. He's just trying to keep Classic scared, poke in, poke out. I say that, is he actually going to commit to this? I did not think he was willing to push. But apparently he's saying, hey, I've got 1-1, I've got stim and shields, concussive is finishing. Siege upper tank, let's go for it. Wow, okay. Interesting. I mean, does get a bit of damage here. Widow Mine's not firing just yet. Robobay goes down. Auto turrets try to drop some auto turrets. The Raven does drop some auto turrets, picks up some units. Big probe damage on the Widow Mines. The Widow Mines had not fired, sent the probes back to mine a little bit too early. Did Classic 15 probes going down. Oh my gosh. So much damage. Maru playing with a lot of YOLO today. Just, you know, 0 patience, but the correct amount of patience is 0 apparently with how he's playing. That will get shot down there on the 4th. The Phoenix can pick up the Marine and the Marauder as well. That is massive damage. 2-2s on the way. Remember, he already has 7 barracks, guys. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tech labs, 2 reactors, just non-stop bio Viking now. I think he probably needs a few more medevacs. But the units lost tab, even though it's negative for him, look how far ahead he is. This is pressure-filled, momentum-focused StarCraft. You don't need to trade efficiently if you're killing their workers, you're keeping them off expanding. But you do have to be worried about a counterattack, though. Maru! Oh my gosh, this was a bit sloppy. He's been in the driver's seat for so long, he kind of just assumed Classic was going to be defensive. Classic moving out at a good time catches Maru moving out. And that was a really good move for Classic. That being said, I don't know if Classic's really ready to prepare, because his 2-2's not even halfway done. I don't think you want to fight. He's supply blocked so he can't warp in. I think Classic is just going to chill for now. Oh, he's... Oh, he pulled the Observer like 80-90% of the way out of the scan and then just left it there. That's a bit of a bummer. Luckily, Observers build quicker now. Remember, guys, Observers only take 18 seconds now. They used to be about 24 seconds, I believe. So you chrono those, and they're out in the blink of an eye. Nothing like having a unit build in 9 seconds. Missing a bit of gas mining on his natural. I don't think that's the end of the world. Oh, he's rallied to his gas. That's a bit awkward. But oh, no, he fixes it. No worries. Okay, so up to 72 probes. He's now trying to go Stargate Fleet Beacon. I really wanted to see him try to play Disruptors against Maru. Now, the weird thing about going a late game on this map is this map, like I said, only has 6 bases. You could argue Terran's weaker on this map. Because if you want to invest in all the mass orbitals and stuff, there's no 7th base, no 8th base. Like, there's not that many bases to then mine out with those mass mules and stuff. You spend so much money on infrastructure. But hold that thought, big push. EMP does land. Ghost goes down, though. Colossus are kind of in the open. But battery overcharge, maybe a bit preemptive on the battery overcharge. Better late than never, though. And Zealot Drop comes into counter. Vikings will take that out. Looks like the 3rd base SCVs did run away. 2-2's finished for Protoss now, but he's not going to get too much damage. This is basically a, hey, don't attack me right now. Trade out a few zealots. He gets a ghost. He gets a... Oh, he pulled away from the Marauder. That's unfortunate. Gets himself a couple of SCVs, a bit of disruption. And Classic does take a 5th base behind all this. Widowmine will do a boom boom on the Stalker. Does get cleaned up in return. That's a big Zealot run by... This army is so vulnerable on the map, though. It's so vulnerable. Oh my god, he's got 2 observers here. He's got 2. Notice he's not sieging them up because they become so much more visible. But he's really got to spread those observers out. Zealots do run in on the 4th base. Oh my god, no. Too many. That's too many. Wait. He sees that the army's not coming home, so Classic continues. Now he sees the army coming back. He's got to run away. I don't think he can fight that, can he? Oh, he's going to go for it. Because he sees that the army's diving on the other side. Maru trying to be super decisive. Does he have enough to defend? The Zealots are getting blocked by the SCVs. Great micro by Maru. Maru pulling back to the choke point like a bit of a D-bag. The Zealots were trading well, but now they can't really get the surface area back at home. He's got to push through. Battery overcharge is good, but the EMPs. The EMPs were devastating. Absolutely devastating. Classic needed to pre-spread there. You often want to keep your units clumped. If he was pre-spread, I think he holds this push. But the EMPs got rid of all the shields on all of his units instantly. Maru pushing indecisively. The Zealots overwhelmed. There was not enough units to defend the 2-2 Zealots there, even though it was 2-2 bio medevac. Damn, this is such a close game. Dude, this is such a close game. But Maru's core of army is just so much better now. Those Colossus needed to get rid of a lot more of this bio. If he did that, that would have been huge. That is absolutely massive. Zealot Stalker is there. The Prism is going to try to pull back. Oh, Ghost Marines, SCVs coming forward. Stalker's doing its thing. And Classic is going to have to tap out. A very close series, though. Honestly, I expected Classic to get 2-0'd unceremoniously today. But he played his own style. And this is actually a very confident opening to the group stage. I don't think Classic... I would have put him as the favorite to be last in this group. After this first series, I honestly have no idea what's going to happen.